Hi, I'm Glen Peloso of Glen Peloso Interiors, and I'm here with Real Life. And we're going to talk a little bit about kitchens, particularly small kitchens in condos, sometimes in smaller townhomes, and how best to deal with the functionality of a kitchen and how best to deal with the color and style. Now, every kitchen in every home really can stand out of the scape of the home because the kitchen is really essentially a workshop. It's a workspace, it's just where we create our meals and do that sort of thing. So you have to make the kitchen first and foremost a functional space. There's a thing in design that known as the triangle, and you have to deal with that, which means the fridge, the sink, and the stove have to work in a triangle. Really, that's because if you happen to have a pot of boiling water, you have to get it to the sink. You don't want to walk all the way across the whole kitchen, burn yourself, burn somebody else in the kitchen, so it has to function like that. Obviously, you have to have a fridge, you have to have a sink, you have to have a stove and an oven, and how you lay those out, ideally, have to work in a triangle. Then the rest of the space is essentially a storage space. And how best to deal with that storage? In my opinion, the ideal thing to do is take the cupboards right up to the ceiling, because every space now is quite tight and you want to be able to store as much as you possibly can. The things that are quite high, these are things that you don't necessarily need to access that often, perhaps vases or trays that you wouldn't use on an everyday basis. And the things that you use on an everyday basis you keep quite close to the dishwasher, which is ideally so that it's quick to take from the dishwasher, put them right away into the cupboards, and that means that things in your life works in a very easy fashion. You want to use every wall space that you possibly can, but you have to make sure that you leave at least 36 inches so that you can move. Otherwise, you have lots of storage, but no room for people, and that's just not going to work for you. So have storage space on one side, perhaps, so that you have this triangle to be able to access all the things that you're going to put away and use on a regular basis. Then it's a nice idea to also have some sort of an accent wall. In this kitchen, what we did was we used the far wall, and we used glass cabinetry all the way around so that they could display some of their more beautiful glasswares and things like that, and also changed up the backsplash in this section. So we've essentially created kind of a bar as well as kind of a coffee service area, which is a little bit out of the way. It's sort of a built-in pantry, if you will, and that acts as the dining room, which makes life in this kitchen very nice. Now, because the kitchen is small, what we try to do is go with a relatively consistent color. So you'll see that the color of the cabinetry and the color of the walls is very close. Then, because they're a relatively fastidious couple in this household, we were able to go with black countertops. And the black countertops do a lovely thing in terms of creating a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of shine, but it also means that the color is consistent. So the countertop and the backsplash is exactly the same. And as a result, what happens is you don't have a lot of different angles, a lot of different breakup, unless you want to do that in spaces that are specifically things that you want to feature, like we've done over the coffee area. So by combining all those things together, you end up with a very functional kitchen, which is very beautiful and lovely to work in, but also means that it's a pleasure to be in because it feels like a big, opulent kitchen that might be in a big home when really the space is quite tight. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again.